All right, guys, the long-awaited, highly requested video. Um, iOS 14. Is it time to run for the hills? Time to, hedge your bets on a new business model? Time to cut your losses? Or is nothing changing at all and it's all just drama and hype? Which one is it? Let's talk about it in this video today. All right, so I'll be honest with you. I am like no huge Facebook ad expert. A lot of the work that I did for my clients wasn't super Facebook ad heavy. Like it was mostly just building funnels and helping with creating their offer and stuff like that. And then when I would run ads for them, it would be purely on request, and I would just give it off to a contractor. But that being said, I do have a generalized theory on the cycle of a market and sort of the human nature principles that will never change in regards to how a market adjusts to massive change, particularly government-induced massive change, because we all know that this is just, Congress coming down on Facebook, telling it that it can't, store data or what. It's this huge, overly politicized, unnecessary issue. Even as an advertiser, as somebody who's, run probably 20, 30, 40 grand in ads on Facebook for his own business, I don't see anything about people. I have no idea who they are or, what they look like or anything about them. I'm just purely buying attention. And so it's overly politicized. We all know that as marketers. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to make this too political, but it is inherently a political issue because some people don't want their data being stolen. So let me do this for you. I was actually on a Q&A call. We have twice a week Q&A calls for our beginner tier program, the six-figure program. And it's where we help people, start and grow their own marketing consulting businesses, their own coaching businesses, whatever it is. And we tend to attract a lot of marketers, a lot of people who want to do marketing services for people. Though that's not really our niche, it probably was at one point, we've now expanded into, hey, if you have an expertise of any kind, we're going to help you package it and sell it. We've got our beginner tier program, and this was a call about 3 days ago that we had. We have 2 a week. And I just wanted to use this clip to kind of help explain my opinion in context with the question. So one of our clients, Connie, he said, hey man, so I'm running, $60,000 a month in advertising for this client. Should I be scared about iOS 14? What do you think it has to do with my business, and what are your thoughts? And so I shared, so I'm going to go ahead and put this clip in here. Robert, my editor, is going to go ahead and play that for you. And then I'm going to end this video with a little bit more of my thoughts and a little bit more of what it could mean for you.
So from last time we spoke, I actually signed on that client that was doing I signed them on with $2,500 a month, and we're spending $60K a month on ads. So it's a really big client. And I've noticed that as of recent with Facebook ads, they've changed, the whole iOS 14 update. And everybody woke up, I woke up earlier today, and I was trying to figure out why I couldn't see ROAS, and there were issues with attribution. Do you know anything about how that's going to affect people's ad accounts and what to kind of expect from it? I'm trying to keep my, my clients calm, but there's just so much changing right now with Facebook.
Yeah. To be honest with you, dude, I think iOS 14, it's definitely not something to just turn away from and not recognize as a potential problem. But at the same time, we're so adaptive, dude, as entrepreneurs and as marketers. I mean, somebody's going to come out with a software tool that's going to fix the problem or something. It always kind of comes back around. So my answer, when you do coaching and you help people start and grow and just limiting beliefs, and one of the main things that happens for people is just a big software update or a big change to the API. What's going to happen to our industry? And I get the message twice a day right now, Trey, is SMMA staying around because of iOS 14? And I'm just man, I'll be honest, dude, things are going to change quarter to quarter in all kinds of ways. That's why you focus on principles. It's why you focus on being a good copywriter. It's why you focus on understanding your client's market. It's why you focus on things that don't change. If you're building your entire business off of one tiny leverage point that could break at any moment, you should be scared. But for the most part, helping people start and grow businesses, or growing their existing businesses with proven marketing ideas, it's not going away. So I think specifically for iOS 14, I know it's kind of a big picture view of it,
The specific thing that I see happening with iOS 14, this is kind of my prediction, is it's going to be a big change for about 3 to 4 months. They're going to notice that ad spend is down on Facebook, and Facebook's going to appeal the decision, and then there's going to be a legal case, and then we're going to settle somewhere in the middle. And there's probably going to be software tools out there that negate the problem, which that's how the free market works. And there's probably going to be people out there that have a solution of some kind that helps you hit other platforms despite the iOS 14 restrictions. So, I mean, every time these problems are solved, the market always evens itself out. The role of government in the free market is it shouldn't exist. There should not be any government intervention other than maybe, you're not allowed to sell body parts or something like that. I don't know. But like nowhere near as involved as it should be, and this is, I know we're getting political here, but in order for the free market to work, it needs to be purely free. And the market will revolt. It will come back and it will say, we're tired of all these restrictions. Like, we're just going to do whatever we want. And it's just the cycle that we live on. We see it happening right now in the culture, right? The government's starting to have some more power. It's starting to grow. And then it's going to go back. If you just, you look back in history, it's like a 30, 50-year cycle. It's just over and over again. We go through this exact same loop. So long term, you want to hitch your professional wagon to things that don't change, like product market fit. It's a big one. Making sure that your product actually scales in your market, right? Understanding the concept of scale and supply chain for your clients. Making sure that they can sell as much as they need to whenever the demand is there. Building a brand, building a following, people that subscribe to your message as a company. Those sorts of things that really help clients long term. So yeah, iOS 14 is definitely something to consider, but it's not at all like a damaging, it might be a short-term damaging thing, like you'll lose a client or two because they're really relying on retargeting campaigns or something. But I'm just not afraid of these changes long-term, dude.
All right, so I don't necessarily think there's a huge need for me to rebuttal what I just said in that clip. You get the gist. The market's going to adjust. The free market works in such a way that no matter what gets thrown at it, human standards and ingenuity is high enough, and I have more than enough belief in it, that somebody's going to come up with a software or some sort of a legal loophole, or something's going to happen, or there's going to be a new platform or something, right, that's going to change to either mitigate this issue or fix the problem, or Facebook's going to notice that, ad spend is down and they're going to appeal the decision. Who knows? Who knows, really? But I do know this. As a marketer, if you are relying on a tool to do the work that your messaging and your offer should be doing for you, you are in the long game. You honestly stand on sand. There's the concept of the guy who builds his house on rock and the guy who builds his house on sand. The guy who builds his house on sand, the waves come, the wind comes, the storm comes, blows his house over. The man who builds his house on rock, wind comes, storm comes, waves come, his house still stands. So the core things, in my opinion, that allow a business to function long-term are A, clear product market fit inside of a market that is out into the long haul. Like, it's not like you're hitching your wagon to Bitcoin consulting or something, or helping people with a specific tool that just popped up. I saw a lot of people when for example, Messenger chatbots first popped up. Tons of people, hey, buy my 997 course on how to use a chatbot. They're not around anymore. Those people are not around. They come and they go. They've built their house on sand. It's a tool, right? So really, you are not a Facebook ads expert. And this is what we teach our clients. This is what we've taught our clients from day one. You are not the tools you use. You don't identify with Facebook ads. You identify with the transformation you're creating in your clients, and it's your job to identify the tools and strategies that should allow that transformation to happen, whether it's Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Pinterest, Tumblr, whatever, right? Your job is to figure that out and turn it into a system that generates results consistently for clients. Like, for example, this would almost be like if a new law passed that said we weren't allowed to use creatine anymore for fitness coaches. Fitness coaches that have their clients on creatine, creatine, it essentially stores more water weight, which makes it easier to pack on extra dense muscle. I think that's how it works or something, and it slows down your metabolism by just a tad. I used it to put on a little bit of extra muscle weight. I used to literally weigh 110 pounds. I now weigh like 130, 135. So I'm generally a small guy, and it was able to help me. So a lot of people that are coaching their clients on getting more muscle weight on say, use creatine, but be especially careful with it. If it gets outlawed, all of a sudden, all these fitness coaches are gone because they hitched their wagon to a tool. It's the same thing, right? So be careful not to hitch your wagon to a tool, but to hitch your wagon to principles and concepts that have applied since day one. This is why you should study the classics in marketing, the classics in whatever industry you're in. You know, go back to the 1960s, 1950s, 1970s-ish, you know, when a lot of the markets that still exist today were booming and they were being created. You know, what were these original people doing that we can just model today and keep things moving? For example, David Ogilvy ran one of the largest copywriting agencies on the planet, and they processed, you know, multiple billions in dollars of advertising for their clients and got paid even more to do it. And they just wrote newspaper ads. They wrote a newspaper and billboard, and I think they eventually did radio ads, but then the business was sold, I think, after Ogilvy passed away, if I remember correctly. And they literally did the exact same things that we do today. Like, they understood scarcity, urgency, they understood how to, you know, communicate a product well, they understood product market fit, these sorts of things. Those are concepts that will never go and never change. And so as a marketer, your job, again, do not hitch your wagon to a tool, hitch your wagon to concepts and principles that never change, that will never go away, that have been and stood the test of time for at least 10 years. Like, that should be a bare minimum. But in reality, product market fit goes back to the medieval times, like when you have people, you know, standing on street corners, you know, sharing an advertisement verbally with a crowd saying, we have this store, it's open now. If you need clothes for this, you know, if you have a young girl in your house and they need clothes, we have clothes for them, you know, 20% off of these clothes. And like, that's product market fit, right? So just very core principles that allow your business to work are what you should hitch your wagon to. So hopefully this video made sense. That is my thoughts on iOS 14. Things will change. Markets will be, you know, slightly influenced by government interaction and different decisions that are out of our control. But, you know, it really doesn't matter if you know what you're doing. I hate to put it that way, but if you know what you're doing, you understand how the world really works. These sorts of changes just don't scare you, and they just don't scare me. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this made sense to you. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe, check out more of the content on the channel, and I'll see you guys soon.